Hello.
Fabulous.
I was about to say you're looking very vibrant.
Thank you. You as well. I think it's like a Friday vibe, even though all the days blend together. I still feel as if we live in a Friday vibe. So.
Yeah. You know what? I agree with that because some days I'm like, what's today? What?
They're a blur.
I know, but it's May 1st. Welcome to May.
I know. It's
Isn't
May.
that crazy?
That's my Justin Timberlake. It's gonna be May move.
I know. I need to post that. That's hilarious. I used to love that. Can you believe that today is actually, we are 1/3 of the way through the year?
That is crazy to me because, yeah, I mean, I can believe that with everything that's going on. I've basically been asking all my friends, like, what are your New Year's Eve plans? Like, this year's a wrap. It is a wrap. So that's been my question.
I love that. I love it. Well, let me tell the people about you, and then we will just jump in and talk about all the things.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, Kaylee began the Love You Mean It lifestyle brand after discovering her passion for adding value to people's lives through the work she has done. With more than a decade of experience in creative branding and marketing, philanthropy consulting, sales, and event curation, she continues to advocate that she works in the people business. Her passion for impacting others and her tenacity for personal growth and development remains to be the driving force behind the L.Y.M.I brand. Is it L.Y.M.I? The L.Y.M.I brand?
Yes, L.Y.M.I.
Yes, the L.Y.M.I brand. So welcome, Kaylee. I want to know all about the L.Y.M.I brand. I love the concept. So let's start there. How are you?
Thank you. Yes, thank you so much. So yeah, I was really passionate about adding value to people's lives, and I just decided I'm going to make a company and continue to pursue that for the rest of my life. So in a nutshell, that's what happened.
I love that. So it's Love You Mean It.
Yes, that is something that I would say all the time with sincerity. And then, of course, as a funny, it was kind of a slang thing, or not a slang, but a little phrase that a lot of people would say, but I really genuinely loved what it means. And so I stuck to that, and I would say it all the time. So I had to have a brand of authenticity. And so that's how I chose the name.
I love that. So you're from California, right?
Yes. Born and raised Southern California, lived in Dallas now for 3 years. Actually April, we just got out of April. That was my 3rd year mark. And I've been loving it ever since.
Really? So what's the big difference between California and Texas?
Oh, so I would have to say the freedom of my spirit. So being in California, it's gorgeous, it's beautiful, and I love my state. But there's a lot of overstimulation with advertising, one-upping other people, and I feel like the connectedness kind of got lost in the pursuit of success in California. And so moving here has been such a relief and a fresh breath of air, because we're not overstimulated here. And what I mean by that is something as simple as driving down the highway and seeing nothing but openness and not a ton of billboards. Of course, you get your fair share of marketing and advertising, but it's not as abundant here.
Gotcha.
It's just a totally different vibe. And then, of course, the people here were so welcoming and want to really connect with you and work with you and get to know you, because there's not a lot of competition that's kind of barring down on them. So the freedom of that spirit, that's been the biggest difference so far. Additionally, there's tornadoes here, and that's my biggest fear. So that's a big change.
Yeah. When those sirens start going off, just take cover.
I have never cried from fear alone until I've lived through some sirens, and I'm like, what is happening to me?
Right, what is going on?
I don't like it.
That's funny. Yeah, I mean, we're in that season too. We're about to hit it. So
I know.
I'm sending you lots of light and love right now.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so glad that my business is online because I don't have to travel a whole lot. So I can choose to stay home if it's going to storm. Nope, not going outside, not going anywhere.
Yeah. So how's it been through the quarantine? Like, how have your spirits been? Like, how's business? Just tell me your feelings about the quarantine. We're partially open today. So
Yes, I know. I'm so excited about that. I'm super blessed to be in Texas during this time because it's been very, they've continued to try to allow us to have a lot of that freedom. And then, of course, being one of the first to open is really nice. So it's very interesting how my quarantine experience has been because I went through a lot of changes and transitions and I was moving. And then I was in a new space and then we got locked down and it was my birthday and it was just very strange. But what it did is it really, really helped me focus in. So, I could have focused on the fact that I could not do all these things with my business, but the silver lining for me was because I do some consulting on the side as well, and that is a mainstream of income while I pursue to grow my business and make it sufficient. And so I was not able to service those clients anymore because they had to close down.
right.
But the blessing in disguise was that I was able to focus more on L.Y.M.I coffee. And with doing so, I actually had my best month in April.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so since I launched in September, April was the best month since then. And I looked at that last night before I went to bed at like 2:45. And I was like, oh my goodness, I did not realize I had the best month. And that was because everything just cleared away. And I was able to just focus and go all in on value add and learning how to grow my business and everything else. So it was just been such a really good blessing.
I love that. So what has that taught you though through that?
So it has taught me that I should not take on anything else. It has taught me not to
ask. Yeah.
Yeah, like I love to give so much and add value to so many people that sometimes it's to a fault where I'm not focusing on the things I should be focusing on for myself.
Yeah.
And with this time, I've been forced to focus on myself, my own business, and making that work. And I can't fill other people's cups unless my cup is full. So it is so necessary. And even with that, I've been forced to stay home more and take more time to do meditation and have thoughts and take more baths, which has been amazing. Like, oh my goodness, like taking a bath at least every other day has been survival. Like that has been my secret. I'm telling you what it does. It just like detoxifies everything. Because I'm wearing all the hats in my business, so I have to release all of that, and it helps a lot.
I love that. Your energy is amazing. Like you have like a glow about you. Like where do you think that comes from?
Well, it comes from you right now because you are the kindness queen, and I love her every day 365, day 172, whatever we're on. So yeah, I love that. I love that spirit about you as well. I know when we first met the drawing board, I'm like, I love her. Like you're just so authentically you. But yeah, so hearing that coming from you, I appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I mean, I just have a gratitude for life in general. I don't know. I'm not really, my mom has always been very kind and taught me that. And so I get that from her for sure. And I just always see the good in everything. It's so difficult to see the bad in things. Like it's not my nature. I actually used to see the bad in things
Yeah.
during adolescence. And there was one, I remember one moment in my life where I was so angry, so frustrated, so like flabbergasted at something that happened. And I was just going off on this rant, and I stopped. And I was like, wait a minute. If I keep complaining about this, the situation is not going to change.
Right.
So I might as well stop complaining about it and just like and let it be, because me crying about it is not going to change what has happened. And in that very moment, I made a conscious decision to do that from that point on. And then I think like 2 weeks later, someone broke into my car, broke my window, stole my laptop.
Oh man.
And it didn't faze me for a second. I was like, well, it's gone. Moving on. Like, okay. And people were just like, are you not mad? I'm like, it sucks. It sucks, but what am I gonna do? Why bother getting all worked up? And that's kind of how I've lived my life ever since.
You know, that is an amazing lesson right there, because it really does start with you personally. Like, you can't control any of the outside forces around you, but all you can control is you and how you respond to the situation. And once, you know, prior to my kindness journey, I was super sarcastic. I was super like, I was going to be, I had something to say about everything.
I know that.
You're right. I was like, I could. You thought you got me, but I got you back. You know.
Yeah.
And so, but it's like you have the power to make a change within yourself if you decide to do that, and that's the only thing you have control over. And once you decide and realize that, life gets better. You know, there are going to be moments that suck. Yes. There are going to be moments of frustration. There are going to be moments of annoyances. All of that, all the feelings are going to come. But then what? Then how do you move forward from there?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're absolutely right. You can, you know, give yourself permission. And that's another thing. And I had to learn is to give myself permission. Give myself permission to be upset. Give myself permission to dwell on things. But also give myself the rule of, okay, you're done now. Like, now start switching the mindset after you've dwelled enough and you feel like you've mourned whatever it was. Like, you're done. So
yeah. I mean, that's huge. That's huge. Or it was huge for me in my life. And so, and I truly believe I love saying that I'm going to change the world. And when people say that, hear me say that, they think I mean all 7 billion people at one time. But changing the world is really one person at a time, one interaction at a time, one situation at a time. And so as long as you're bringing your high vibe, your positive energy to the situation, then that's all that matters. And then you never know what kind of impact you have on that person and what they're going to do with that information. And then that's how we impact change.
Yes, that is, I love that you said that, because that is literally what motivated me to start a company. Because when Facebook first started, and I first got access, because you had to go to a certain school and all this, there was all these rules. So when I finally first got access, the first thing I did was just start sharing what was on my heart. And I would read something that would come across the feed, and I would find it somewhere, and it would resonate with me, and I'd stick it in my back pocket, and like, I'm going to use that for later, you know, if it was a little quote or message or something. And I liked that I felt impacted by the things that I was seeing randomly throughout the universe. And so I wanted to do the same thing. And what continues to get me going is being able to hear a response. Like, I'll post and post and post, and if I get one response from one person, it's like, oh, I needed to hear this today. Thank you so much. That is satisfaction. You don't have to change everyone, and then also there's people who are, they're listening, they're watching, they're not always responding, but they are absorbing. So what you're giving off is going to be absorbed. And so that's why I do what I do, because somewhere, someone is going to resonate with what I have to say and offer.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. You know, we're in a situation, a climate of likes and comments or whatever. And so it doesn't matter how many people like it. It only matters about how many people can absorb it and what they can do with it in their life. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so, you know, maybe having 10,000 likes, that's cool. But if people are just pushing the button and not really paying attention,
Right.
then what kind of, what are you really doing? Right.
Yeah.
And so, but just to have that one person come through and say, wow, I needed that right there is powerful.
Yeah. Yeah. And it brings such fulfillment and it keeps me going.
Yeah. So tell me about the coffee. I mean, the coffee, I hear it's amazing. I haven't tried it yet, but tell me all about it.
Yes. So the coffee is called High Vibe, and it is an organic, direct trade Brazilian and Indian bean blend that is naturally extra caffeinated. So not only are you getting the positive high vibes, but you're getting high vibes from the coffee itself. It truly is a premium quality luxury coffee, which I spent some time research or making sure I found a really good coffee that I can stand behind.
Mm-hmm.
But I chose to have a coffee company because I wanted something to, obviously, like I said, share my love and positivity and encouragement through. And coffee is a universal language that brings people together, and it has community around it. So I could build a community around that coffee. And that's what this is. That's what it represents.
That is awesome. So were you always a coffee connoisseur?
No, so I have a natural high energy, and I was fueled by the sun. I went outside every single day in California and just enjoyed getting my my sunshine. So that's just kind of how my energy source. But then I had to start working early at some point, and I discovered my first cup of coffee, and I thought, oh my gosh, this is why people like it. Like, I felt amazing. And so I that's where I first started it. But then I really got into it more about what it meant with my roommates who were coffee lovers, and they would bring in different roasts from different regions, and we would brew it. And we lived on the beach in El Segundo, California, and we'd have the beach breeze flowing through, and it just felt amazing, and we'd have great connection and conversation over that cup of coffee. So that is what really stuck with me. And that's later when I remembered, I want that feeling, and coffee provided me that feeling. It's going to be coffee. I eventually did fall in love with it, but I wasn't really a connoisseur, and I'm still learning. There's still so much growing within the coffee community. But yeah, I do love it, and I'll try any coffee. But that's where it started.
I love that. I love that. I'm sorry, I thought somebody was coming in.
No worries.
That's awesome. Okay, great. So tell me, what is your big vision for the company? Like, what's your goal for L.Y.M.I?
That's a good question. No one's asked me that yet. My goal is to build a community of like-minded individuals who are seeking to grow and better their life, and to be able to provide them with the quality coffee, of course, but quality content and quality products. I will be expanding the product line, and quality products that they can enjoy themselves, that bring them a sense of connection within that community, and also provide the value for their overall well-being. So I want to be able to impact so many people, and I want them to feel really good and feel the love when they see L.Y.M.I coffee, when they see the Love You Mean It brand, that it gives them that sense of connectedness. So I want to be able to have that messaging resonate so deeply that within every household, they know what the brand means, and it makes them feel good just thinking about it.
I love that. And just the amount of love that you're putting into it I mean, that's a big part of it, right? Like you could have an amazing brand, you could have an amazing company, but be miserable. But
Yeah.
I could just sense that it's something that you really love and enjoy.
Yeah.
And I'm sure every cup of coffee you can taste the love that's in it too.
Yes. Oh, yes, you can. You definitely can. And you can definitely feel the, that's why I really love the type of coffee that we have, the extra caffeinated, and it's organic. So it's very clean and it gives you a sustained energy throughout the day and a mental focus and clarity that just feels good. And so it really speaks to that overall mindset development and empowerment.
Yeah,
It's a
that
full.
is awesome. So if you had one piece of advice for
Yes.
someone who wants to start a business or start a brand or start, whatever, what would your advice be to the person just to get them to start it?
Just to get them to start it. Well, I'm sure a lot of people have heard this before, but know your why, obviously. Like what are you out to attain? Because you can chase money all day and you can find money everywhere. But if you're out to attain the goal of impacting something specific, someone, or fixing a problem, and you know what that goal is, then you can actually start speaking and doing from within. And that is the primary focus. So know what you're really trying to do as a purpose-driven goal, not a financial goal or a transactional goal, and then know where it's coming from. And I always have this rule of thumb is focus on one thing at a time. It can be overwhelming of, trying to start a business. How are you going to get there? How this, how that? Get rid of all of that. Do one thing. If you, like when I started my company, I knew I wanted to add value. So the first thing I did was start my Coffee with Kaylee video series, and I just started giving quotes and talking about how it can change your life and just sharing. I wanted that so bad. Don't know how it's going to tie into the company. I just want to do this. And so I started my Coffee with Kaylee series, and then I was able to discuss, hey, I have a coffee to go with this conversation. So, start with the why and your purpose and focus on one thing first, and then eventually the next thing will come. That would be my advice.
That is okay. Yes. That is beautiful advice because, it can be overwhelming to think about all of everything that you have to do, right? But if you take it one step at a time, like the building blocks will start to grow. But you have to take that first step. And now it might be a 12-story building, but we still got to get that first step in first.
Yeah, I actually had my online store registered and I was paying for it for months before I even knew what I was going to do.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm doing one thing. I knew I wanted a business. I knew I wanted to be online. I have to get an online platform. Okay, it's done. Now I have to show up for that. And now I have to fulfill the next step. So it forces you to keep going, taking those actionable steps and allowing things to compound on one another.
Yep. And the showing up part is huge. Yeah. Because again, like we were saying before, it doesn't matter if only one or two people are watching or whatever or clicking. All that matters is that you're showing up every single day. You're showing up and you're giving your best every single day. And then if you keep doing that, then everything else will fall right in line.
Exactly.
That's awesome. Listen, I can talk to you all day.
Yeah, me too.
I think you're awesome. I appreciate, yeah, thank you. I appreciate what you're doing in the world and just the good energy and the awesome positivity that you're putting out there. Because the one thing this quarantine has taught me is that humanity is amazing and there's more good in the world than not. And people are rising up, and you are definitely one of those people who are rising. And so I appreciate you so much.
Thank you. And I appreciate you too. I love what you're doing. I love that you show up every single day. You motivate me to show up every single day. It's very hard to show up every day. So thank you.
Yeah. Some days I'm just like, okay, but here I go.
Yep.
You gotta do it anyway.
Yes.
Sweet. Well, this has been Make Kind Loud, conversations that turn up the volume. Today we talked to Kaylee Ocampo with Love You, Mean It, L.Y.M.I Coffee. And she just says, show up every day. Do one thing and just keep doing it until you get the next thing. And it will all fall into place. Kaylee, I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Louisa. I appreciate you. Thank
You're
you so
welcome.
much.
All right, we'll see you guys next time on Make Kind Loud, conversations that turn up the volume. Bye.
Bye.